His condition is not separate. It is so easy to mix up his revelation, his state, with just his physical form. And this is not what he means with I am you. This is not the separate human being identifying with another separate human being. This is the uniqueness of his revelation, of his gift to the world, to humankind, that he reveals and transmits a state of being, not a description of a physical form. It is a state of native state of being that is native to everybody. But he was able to bring that into the world in a physical form, and his body was manifesting these qualities, this condition, through his physical form. And after his physical form not being available, this condition didn't disappear. This continues, and he just revealed that this is always been like this before he manifested in this world, and it is the case now in every moment.
Adi Da is light. He is very light. He is the unbroken light that is conscious. He is what Einstein would say, E equals mc squared. Adi Da is E equals mc squared in some sense. He is light, he is energy, indestructible, indivisible, appearing in a human form, showing me through that human form what light is when it is no contraction, giving me the revelation of what freedom is, even in the body. So the body is completely naked, transparent to unbroken light. So I never seen anyone so free.
I've looked back and realized that time and space around Bhagavan Adi Da is often very plastic and changes shape. And time can move very quickly or very slowly, and the normal, and spaces can be stretched or shortened, and in my experience. And suddenly I had this feeling that although he, logically I knew he was quite far away, maybe a football field's length away, he suddenly felt like he was very, very close, only a few feet away from me. And he turned his head and looked right at me and looked into me, and basically was said to me, "What took you so long?" And it broke my heart, because I realized that he wasn't like anybody I expected or anybody I knew, or a movie star or a prince or anything like that. He was my deepest intimate. He was the one I've always known and always longed for. And he had brought me here to this place to be with him. And through all, I kind of telescoped back through all the events in my life and saw how they all had led, one piece by piece, to this moment of coming to him. And it was so, my heart just burst that moment, and I just started crying. And I felt like I couldn't stop crying, and I started weeping out my whole life. Felt like my life was just being wept out through my heart. And I've never felt such joy and happiness at seeing the most beautiful. He was so beautiful. There isn't anything more beautiful than seeing him at his ease and rest and being who he is. And I don't know, I just felt that this was the beginning of my life with him.
Just looking at him, and just that, well, it's not just a vision, but it's just the feeling of actually feasting one's eyes on that, on his body, just brought me into this incredible state of letting go, of peacefulness. But more importantly, that I felt is the sense that you have of yourself that's always going, that's always struggling, that's always thinking, that's always trying to figure something out or what is happening here, just dropped away, literally dropped away. And that feeling of him as my master, again, not really having a context for it, came up again. And then something very interesting happened. Adi Da Samraj turned his head and just looked at me. I don't know how you know that he's looking directly at you in a group of people. You just know it. You feel it. And what I began to feel was that literally this sense of my identity as David was literally being or disappearing or moving away. I felt it literally in my cells, like everything in my body that said, this is David, this is my arm, was just kind of moving away. And in its place was this sense of not having any kind of separation from him or not having any separation from anything else. I had a sense that he, in that moment, was capable and willing to totally transform me, to enlighten me from this sense of separation, from this sense of egoity, from this sense of problem, from this sense of struggle. In that moment, he was capable and willing to do it in that moment completely and absolutely.
He was mainly just sitting with people silently, in comparison to sitting for many hours and talking with people about their questions. His work at this time was just about communicating his radiance through sitting with people directly. And I was with him every day out there, and no words were spoken between us. And every day it was just a simple matter of being around him and watching what he did and serving when I could and sitting with him. The simplicity of no words and the simplicity of just heart feeling and giving that to him and receiving it from him. When I would sit with him, he just looked radiant and peaceful, and often would sit outside with this sound of the ocean right there next to the veranda that he sat on. And it was just like being transported to some place of movelessness and of brightness and of light. And it just made me feel the essence of what it is to love and to give. And also the simplicity of that when you feel that deepest place.
In one particular sitting, or several sittings actually, but one particular, he was taken over, this body mind completely, that I disappeared and didn't feel any separation from anything anymore. And I have to say, I felt that he is and was forever everything, everything, always, already, here and everywhere. It was so beyond words that it was hard to find words afterwards. And then afterwards, there was no mind for a very, very long time, just enjoying this state of feeling him in deepest heart communion with him, that was the most happy event ever that occurred to me, to feel so deeply connected to him as the divine. And that carries me on from then on, and always will carry me on. And I never will forget this gift he has given me and other people too, of feeling a prior state to the body-mind, and there's no dilemma, there's only love, bliss, joy, happiness, and that everyone can feel it.
Avatar Adi Da communicates through his transmission a depth that is indescribable. It is absolutely still and quiet. And it awakens the heart to a peace that is completely beyond this world. The heart feels drawn. Sometimes there's a feeling of being pulled into a depth, like being at the bottom of an ocean where everything is completely at rest. And even though there's waves on the surface, there's a feeling of being completely prior to it, completely free and completely unqualified by anything. That's the quality that Avatar Adi Da communicates from his being. And it's felt not as an other communicating something to a you, but it's literally a sense of being combined, such that the you part of the equation completely disappears. And there's simply a rest, a deep rest at that place that is completely unqualified. That is the gift that Avatar Adi Da gives to all beings. You are not the one you presume yourself to be. You are always only arising in and as consciousness itself, reality itself. And sometimes that transmission is felt all over the body as a whole bodily ecstasy of bliss. Sometimes it's felt as total restedness and deep peace. Sometimes it's felt as love. The heart seems to explode and open in a way that you can't even describe. It's like, my experience is that the heart knows and the heart loves. It's always moved to the truth. It always is moved to the real condition, to the free state. And that attraction is what allows the practice, the whole practice of the way that Avatar Adi Da gives to unfold, because it's the recognition in the heart of the true condition that moves the being to live the process. It's not a weekend, instant liberation. There's a profound process that we engage as devotees of Avatar Adi Da